Welcome. My name is Jackie Taryn Rankel. I'm the president of the Tri-Valley Democratic Club. Thank you so much for our members joining and as well as guests and new members. Thank you so much. Our meeting is being recorded tonight. It will be uploaded to the cloud and then out to our Facebook page and YouTube channels tomorrow. So we are not live streaming, but we do record and upload the video in its entirety. Let me just hello, Robin.
Hi there.
Hi. Okay, let me just bring up my agenda here and we'll walk through tonight's events. We have quite a bit of speakers. I had it all up and then I closed it down. Bear with me a second, guys. I think it is on. Okay. First off, we are going to start with the Pledge of Allegiance. And Ellis, do you want to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
My audio holds up. Okay. Join me.
Yep.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Someday. Thank you. Thank you.
To the pledge.
Yeah, we like our pledge. Tonight, just to open up tonight's opening statements, I'm watching the Iowa caucuses tonight, and so far, Rump is in the lead, so it doesn't look like this year is starting out any better than 4 years ago. Kind of depressing, but we are going to have to get to work again this year. I hope everybody had a good vacation, a good holiday, because it's right back to work. Tonight's forums, we will listen to candidates for the 5th State Senate District. And if that sounds familiar, I know we've already endorsed in that race, but there's been changes since we last spoke. For those that have attended our December Christmas party, we were informed of some of the changes going on. There was a bunch of switching of who was running for what, and we're going to let the candidates tell us all about that. The forum will be 5 minutes granted to each candidate for their statements. You don't have to use the whole 5 minutes. However, we will have a little stopwatch that will indicate when you're getting close to the end of that time, and we will call time after 5 minutes. The clock will turn yellow about 2 minutes, and then about 1 minute and 15 seconds before the end, it'll turn red. If you make it through that 5 minutes, we will then have no longer than 20 minutes question and answer with the club. There should be a raise hand function in your Zoom. I'm asking members to please not yell out, but to raise their hand. Please take a moment to take a look for that and try to find it. Depending on which version of software you have, it may be under right on the main page. It may be under reactions, or you may have to click on those little dots for more information. So we'll do the best we can. If you're on the phone, *9 is to raise your hand and *6 is to unmute yourself. Do we have, Richard, do we have any phone call-in members tonight?
No, not that I see.
Okay. So that's the process. No longer than 20 minutes on the question and answer. For the judge race, we'll have the same format, up to 5 minutes. Again, you don't have to use the whole 5 minutes. And then for question and answer, with no more than 20 minutes on that segment, and we'll close it down. Who is able to vote? Our members in good standing. If you were a member at the end of last year, you're still in good standing through January 31st. So pay your dues now if you want to make sure next month, if we have anything to vote on, you're in good standing next month. If you're a new member, welcome. Members in good standing are through January 31st. So they're due now, but you're not late until January 31st. So if you were a member last month, you're still in good standing, but please make sure to send in your dues. And regarding the dues, if you're unable to pay those, you need some assistance, we do have help for that. So just reach out, send a note to tvdimsmedia@gmail.com, and we'll pass that by the e-board. And if you need assistance with dues. And then for the next segment, we'll be doing Central Committee. In that segment, I'll have to see how many of those folks ended up on this call. We had originally about 15 people, so we estimated no more than 3 minutes to make a statement for people seeking committee in AD20 and AD16. If we have more time, obviously we'll allow more people or more time for speakers. And Richard, if I could ask you to keep an eye on chat and help answer those, any kind of issues with that. Any other major comments or questions before we get started? Again, if you have a question, you can raise your hand. Otherwise, comments can be put in the chat. And so, to get started, we are going to start with Carlos Villapudua. Mr. Villapudua, if you make sure you are unmuted. And we are going to
go.
And we're going to give you up to 5 minutes starting now, sir.
Okay. Well, thank you everyone for joining me today and joining us today. My name is Carlos Villapudua. I'm a state assembly member, but let me go back. I'm a former county supervisor that had 2 terms here in San Joaquin County. Love what I was doing at that level. We helped save a hospital that was losing $26 million a year. I was the only Democrat working with 4 Republicans that literally wanted to shut that hospital down. I asked one supervisor just to kind of, join in with me, and we got another one just to ask for a year. Within 1 year, we went after to try to get some really good funding from the state to change how we build. We added a trauma center. We really turned that hospital around when I had colleagues that really wanted to turn that down and sell it. I worked really hard to make sure that we expanded our local our local airport, and fought hard that you see now. And back then, it was like 2004 when I was going up to the Bay Area to learn a lot more about VA and our veterans. And we brought in a VA hospital into San Joaquin County that is now about to open its doors, in the next 3 to 4 months. So very excited of some of the accomplishments here as a county supervisor. And as an assembly member, I'm now going in my second term. I enjoy what I'm doing. I've got 100% rating on Planned Parenthood. I've been working really hard to bring money back into homeless. We put millions and millions of dollars here into San Joaquin County, but I'm also putting money into our business community. I spent some time in Pleasanton to sit down with their planning commissioner, with their planning department, to see how they created their downtown. They were really, really good to us. We created the same wheel, which is create an ad hoc committee. I recently put in $23 million, and we're copying what Pleasanton did to their downtown. So we're barely in the phases of adding that ad hoc committee, and we're excited I'm excited about also being involved in the Tri-Valley. I've been spending some time out there recently. I mean, obviously you guys heard of what has happened. So I've been up there for the last week, getting to know people. I've talked to a lot of the business community. I went to a chamber mixer. They're excited to being part of San Joaquin County, of Tri-Valley. I mean, the Tri-Valley being part of San Joaquin County, and I'm excited about that. I'm a hard worker. I'm a member that doesn't just send staff. You will see me attending events. And I'll say that because I was a staffer. They didn't want to see me as a staffer. They wanted to see the electeds. I get that part. So I do make the attempt to make sure that I'm there. I'm at events. So you're going to see me a lot in the Tri-Valley. I'm excited about taking part of being part of, being involved and seeing what are the concerns, what are some of the issues, and what are the good things that you guys want to see in the Tri-Valley and in San Joaquin County. So I'm excited about this race. It is it's a big race. It's a little bit under 1 million folks here. But if you see me today, I'm in my work outfits. It's because I've been out there all day. We have a really good team. We're putting up signs. We believe in grassroots campaigning. This is not going to be given to us. We know that. But if you look at my record, you see how hard I work. I work hard. I do not like to lose. Okay, so I hope that you guys really consider this race and how important it is to all of us. I mean, I don't say me, to all of us. I really want to be part of getting to know you individually. I'm spending the time, going. I was in different parts of the district today, and you're going to be seeing me a lot in the Tri-Valley.
And time. Thank you, sir. And let me remove your spotlight here, and then Congressman, if you could unmute yourself. And sir, you have 5 minutes.
Well, good evening, Tri-Valley Democrats, fellow Democrats. It's an honor to be asked to participate in this event. I got my start in Democratic politics with the Tri-Valley Dems. I was the vice president of this organization back in 2005, 2006. And it's great to see folks that were involved back in the early 90s, early 2000s, and see new folks that are excited about politics and want to make a difference. I served 16 years in the U.S. House of Representatives. During that time, I had a number of very big accomplishments that I'm quite proud of. Carlos mentioned the Veterans Hospital that's being built in San Joaquin County. I was glad to work with state representatives, county representatives, local representatives to get that done. It took 16 years of fighting with the Veterans Administration. Some very difficult moments, some very difficult calls, but between the veterans and the local elected officials, we were able to get that done. And that's going to serve veterans for the rest of the century, as far as I'm concerned. And serving veterans has been one of my top priorities. I had a traumatic brain injury bill that was passed into law that serves veterans that were injured in Iraq and Afghanistan and possibly earlier. And my office has brought on millions of dollars for veterans in constituent services. Another one of my big issues was climate change. I have been a very strong voice in climate change in the U.S. Congress. In this last, my last term in Congress, we passed the Inflation Reduction Act, which is the world's biggest investment in climate mitigation and fighting climate change in the world. I was very proud to be a part of that. Another issue that I'm very engaged in is technology and artificial intelligence. I was chair of not only the Artificial Intelligence Caucus, but the Wi-Fi Caucus and the Grid Innovation Caucus. And my interest in those is that they serve the people of this country in a positive way. I've been absolutely focused on ensuring that artificial intelligence is beneficial to society. I worked very hard on the water issues in California. My office created a 100-page WEST Act, which would transform water usage in the Central Valley and around the country, the western part of the country, to be more conservative with water, to use water in agriculture in a very effective way, in a very efficient way, to help store water, whether above ground or in groundwater, an area that I was very influential and focused on. I was a part of the Delta Coalition, which was against the governor. I love Governor Brown, but his vision of the Delta tunnels, the twin tunnels, would have devastated the Delta. And I worked with my colleagues in the House of Representatives, Doris Matsui, Mike Thompson, Mark Desaulniers, and others to ensure that Delta tunnel project did not move forward. We were very effective in that effort. And I also want to mention, we worked with state and local and county officials to make sure that was the case. We had a unified voice in the Delta. Another area that I've been very vocal on is controlling gun violence. Gun violence, as you know, is out of control in this country. We need common sense rules like red flag laws and preventing people from buying weapons, assault weapons, magazine size limitations, and so on, to make sure that we can do everything possible in California to reduce gun violence. So those are some of the big issues. I've been a very strong advocate for women's rights, and the Planned Parenthood has already endorsed me in this race. So I want to continue to do that. And now looking at the state Senate, it's a body of very effective individuals that work together. And I can tell you what, having an opportunity to work together to make a difference in our country and our region, Senate District 5 and the Tri-Valley is a tremendous opportunity. I ask for your support, and I will do everything I can to serve you in a positive and honorable way. Thank you.
And that's time. Perfect time. See, I knew you guys could do that. Okay, so it is now 7:19. We will have at most 20 minutes for question and answer. Period. And we'll see how that goes. Like I said, no more than 20 minutes. We have some hands raised. And first up, and I'm gonna let me just spotlight both of these folks real quick. And please ask questions that can be addressed to both candidates, and give each candidate a chance to address it. We will not set a specific time on your answers. However, the shorter answer you give, obviously, the more time we can spend. So we are going to spotlight both of you and start with the first question, Ellis Goldberg. Make sure you're unmuted, Ellis. We can't hear you. Okay, we're gonna, Ellis, keep your hand up. Did you get it? Okay, we're gonna, Ellis, if we can, we're gonna move to. Oh, we almost had it.
My machine doesn't.
Try turning off your video and see if your audio will come through better.
Okay, now.
That's better. Let's see if we can get the question out.
You know.
Almost.
I'll put it in chat.
Okay, put it in chat.
Well, now we can hear you. Okay, we're going to move on to Van. Ellis is going to put his question in chat. Van, your question?
Yeah, my question to both of them is, you know, with Governor Newsom's budget cutting back on environmental issues, I'm wondering what your particular positions are on strengthening some of the issues around climate change, and particularly how the rollout of the IRA is taking place in California, and what can be done to make that more clear to California citizens and hasten the rollout of those incentive opportunities for individuals.
And let's have Congressman McNerney answer that first, please.
Thank you, Van. You know, the IRA was a tremendous federal investment in our nation's energy and climate infrastructure. Much of that money is going back down to the states. What I'd like to see is continuing state investment in solar, residential solar, and a solar project like the one that's going over the Delta to provide enough energy to move that water, as much as I hate to see it move. And also putting into effect the California rules concerning adoption of electric and non-fossil fuel vehicles. So those are the kind of things that are going to make a difference and won't require a huge investment by the state of California.
And Assembly-member Villapudua.
Yeah, I don't agree with all what the governor is trying to do. And I'll say, because I'm from the Central Valley, I mean, we got to be really careful that we don't fall off the cliff. I mean, I sit on our ports committee here, and I do want to get to, you know, where it's where we get to electrification, but how do we get there? I sat on the governor's infrastructure committee, and we fought hard, and we won to make sure that they were not going to take over our tunnels or our water here. But you got to understand, movements of goods, we have to figure out and put in maybe a pause and think. We got to think like adults here. You got a lot of mom and pops businesses here that, you know, if we cannot figure out how to move that, and we don't have the infrastructure built out yet, you know, the trucking industry here in San Joaquin County cannot afford a $450,000 car. And we're getting folks that, you know, go back and forth from here to the port. The answer for us first is going to have to make sure that we bring in our rail system here to the city of Lathrop. And we've been very supportive, our office, to make sure that we're putting funding into that so that we can get people off the road, and then start thinking about and investing, which we are. We put $50 million into our ports, so we are going to electrify there. But we, you know, at the same time, I don't want to fall off the cliff. We're going to lose a lot of jobs to other ports from here to Houston to back east. But, you know, so we really need to put a pause and really think this out, because I don't want to fall off the cliff. I want to make sure that we are electrifying, that we are, you know, fighting to add the infrastructure, but we need to start thinking about hydrogen. We got to start thinking about how we make that happen, because we can't go from A to Z immediately. We need to figure out how we're going to get there. So I think, you know, I think there's certain things that the governor is right on, but there's certain things that we're going to continue, as he wants to take our water out of here. We're going to continue to fight that.
Okay, thank you. And Robin, before we get to your question, I'm going to read Ellis's question in the chat, if that's all right here. AD83, and this one's going to go to the Assembly member first. AB83 would prevent companies owned by non-U.S. citizens from contributing to campaigns. 1% of stock by an individual and 5% overall ownership. May violated Citizens United, but would test it in SCOTUS. How will or would you vote and why? So Ellis is asking about AB 83. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to the Assemblyman first. Ellis, did you want to clarify any? Did I read that properly? Ellis, can you? No, I'm not sure if we're going to get that out.
Very well. You read it very well. Thank you.
Okay, Assembly member.
Yeah, can you elaborate on AB 83? We get so many bills. I don't know each and every one of them.
AB 83 is, I believe,
I
holding.
believe that's the one to get, sorry,
businesses
to jump in.
accountable.
I believe that's the one to get foreign entities out of politics and elections. Although that's very basic, I know, broad summary.
To get foreigners out of elections?
Foreign entities.
It's called the Get Foreign Money Out of California Elections Act. I believe it's in third reading or something. I looked it up the other day for some purpose, and it was from last year, but it's not dead yet.
So is it a 2-year bill, or did it? I can't even recall AB 83. I apologize.
Okay.
And it's hard for me to give an answer if I don't know the language of the bill.
And Congressman, are you familiar with this bill? AB 83.
I think I'm muted. Yeah, I'm not familiar with the bill, but let me just say, campaign finance is a huge problem in this country. It enables the worst behavior, and it makes members of Congress and local offices accountable only to the wealthiest donors. I had every one of my terms, 8 terms in Congress, I submitted a proposal to amend the Constitution to change campaign finance law to do a couple of things. First of all, it would only allow contributions outside of the district to be less than or equal to the contributions from inside a congressional or any elected district. It would limit contributions from individuals so that you can't have these self-funders elect themselves into office. And I think that was the strongest possible, and it eliminated money from PACs and super PACs. So it was the strongest possible election campaign finance reform that I had heard of. Unfortunately, we didn't get a whole lot of traction, but I can tell you, just from what I've heard about this Assembly bill, I think they're probably talking about not only money from foreign countries, which is absurd. There's no way any foreign country should be allowed to interfere in our elections, but it should also have some restrictions on money coming from out of the state, because we see some of these state referendums that are being funded by people from out of state, and I think that's a real miscarriage of justice. So yeah, I would vote to reform campaign financing to the degree possible within the state of California.
Thank you. And actually, I think that bill is going to be up for discussion next month. So Ellis is going to bring us all the details next month. So you guys, please rejoin us next month and we can hear about that. And next up on the question is Robin Torello. Sorry, Beth, we'll come back to you.
Yes, can you hear me? Okay.
Yes.
I understand, Congressman, that you have Planned Parenthood that has endorsed you. Can you tell us why, and to the Assembly member, why you didn't get the endorsement of Planned Parenthood? I had done some research, and you didn't have a very high rating by Planned Parenthood. So if you want to speak to that as well. So thank you.
And this time we'll have Congressman McNerney answer first. I'm trying to bounce them around. Thanks, guys.
Well, thank you for the question, Robin. I have 100% rating from Planned Parenthood throughout my career. Some of my staffers are now executives in the Planned Parenthood organizations around locally and around the country. I voted 100% for women's rights, whether it's for healthcare or whether it's choice, or whether it's I have my record speaks for itself. Let's just put it that way, and I think that explains why I got their endorsement.
And the Assembly-member Carlos.
Yeah, no, so I have an A- rating on that. So I think the congressman said it right. He's got folks that have moved on and worked there. And it's true. I got folks that no matter what, how I vote or, you know, an A rating, there's folks within that organization, no matter what. I mean, I was in an election with no opponent and I still don't get the endorsement. So it's just politics. You know, I'm just being honest with you guys right here. You know, it's politics. You know, you're either gonna vote for someone or you're not. So I continue. I don't, you know, I attend all their events. I vote on what they ask. I have an A- rating. You know, so I don't know what was your name again?
Robin?
Robin. I don't know what you're reading that I didn't have a high rating, but I have an A- rating on that. So I can't change that. I can't change if folks within that group that have worked elsewhere that may not like me, but I'm the assembly member and I'm gonna continue to vote, which I think is right.
On to other questions. We're getting a little bit ahead. Any other questions from members? We're a little bit at, oh, I have some more raised hands. Richard.
I see Van's hand is actually raised too, so I'll defer to him.
So I'm wondering if you guys support the idea of having electric vehicles provide energy back to the web during off hours and having PG&E pay prime rates for those, you know, the feedback of energy into the grid from electric vehicles. It was a piece of legislation that was proposed by Skinner last year and was pulled. And I'm wondering if either one of you support that particular movement.
Who goes first?
Oh, who went first last time? I think the congressman did. Carlos?
Yeah, I do support that. I mean, I've been actually did a trip up to the Salt Sea to look at lithium there. Most of our lithium is coming from China and from Chile. We can create our own lithium here. We must invest, which I've signed to sign Eddie Garcia's bill to make sure that we're investing in lithium and then create those jobs. So to answer your question, sir, yes, yeah, we need to do more of that here.
Thank you. Thank you for the question, Van. I just want to make it clear. I spent my entire career before Congress developing new renewable energy technology because I understand the massive threat that climate change poses to our civilization. So I want to support any measure that encourages moving away from fossil fuel usage, and that means electric vehicles. And if people can buy an electric vehicle that has a sufficient battery storage and there's grid issues or grid shortages, then they should be able to sell their electricity back. Can I tell you what? They paid dearly for that electricity. They might as well get money back when they sell it back to them.
Okay. I think that's probably good timing. I will allow each each candidate to make another closing statement, a brief closing statement, since we're a little ahead of time. And Congressman, I'll let you start, make a brief statement and close, and followed by.
Thank you. Thank you, Jackie. It's been an honor and privilege to serve in the House of Representatives for 16 years. I served the Tri-Valley for 6 years, so I understand the issues. Transportation, we're seeing growing homelessness issues, and the global issues, climate, women's rights. These things are things that I feel a lot of passion about. I'm willing to fight for them. I have significant experience. I spent 16 years in, I spent 20 plus years in industry. I have a PhD. I'm not just a regular politician. I bring a tremendous amount of value to Sacramento if I get elected, and I ask you for support, and I thank you for the opportunity to present myself this evening.
Thank you. And Carlos.
Yes. Well, just want to thank everyone again tonight for tuning in and listening to both of us. I'm very passionate about what I do. You know, my dad was a butcher and my mom worked at a cannery. You know, they worked really, really hard to put us through school. You know, I graduated from Sac State. I'm a social worker. Never did I imagine I was going to be here as an elected. You know, I was running community centers where I was very involved with my seniors and our kids. And our centers, we didn't know how to manage both, but we figured out a way that both can be very active. Our seniors need to be more active. We need to put more dollars into them, not just you know, get them to for social hour. We need to make sure that our community centers are vibrant. And I want to continue to do that. I love my community. I am big on ag. You know, I'm supported by all my farmers here. But I also know that the Tri-Valley has the same passion. And I'm excited about being part of Tri-Valley and representing you all. And so that I know that I have a lot to learn, but I'm a fast learner. I'm a first person that, you know, you won't see my staff. You will see me. You'll be seeing me involved. If you look at my track record of what I've done here in our community to bring more dollars here, put 50 million back to our universities, money in our homeless, but even money to our business community that I believe, and I know this because I am not a person that just signed the check, but I also wrote the check. You know, my parents had a restaurant, so I know how hard it is for businesses that struggle. So I'm an ear, and what you're going to get from my office is a person that's going to be really involved, that will be there, and you'll get to know me. You may not know me now, but I guarantee you'll see how eager I am. You know, this is very, very serious race for all of us. I get that, but it's serious for Tri-Valley, and I understand that. And I want to get to know all of you and work hard for you. So thank you tonight for giving me the opportunity to speak to all of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much to both candidates. What we will be doing is sending our members a ballot a little later this evening, and we'll have them vote. And then hopefully by the conclusion of this meeting, we will have the tallies. So during the Central Committee portion, Richard and I will be submitting the ballots to our members. So members, don't go away or you'll miss your chance to vote. So thank you, sirs, for both of your work tonight and support. And we're going to move on to, we're going to unspotlight y'all and move on to our next group. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
And okay, so let's see. Let me get my agenda up here. Okay, Mark, Fickes, are you on, sir?
I am, yes.
Okay, there you are. We are going to spotlight you. I can find it, spotlight. And we're going to put up a timer. So Again, just to remind you, we will start with a 5-minute for each candidate, followed by up to no more than a 20-minute segment of question and answer period. And so, Mark, we're going to start with you, and I'm just going to go ahead and start the timer, and you'll see the clock, and it'll start changing colors as you get closer. So, and there you go. Thank you.
Okay, great. I do see the clock. So Jackie, I'd like to thank you and all the other members of the Tri-Valley Democrat Club for hosting me and the other candidate this evening. It's a little remarkable for me to realize that when I first met many of you on this call, my children were freshmen in high school, and now they are freshmen in college. So the passage of time is something that I'm very cognizant of right now. So briefly, my name is Mark Fickes. I am currently a commissioner with the Alameda County Superior Court. I would note that I am the only openly gay man to serve as a court commissioner. And if elected, I think I would be the 4th or perhaps only the 5th openly gay man to serve as a judge on the Alameda County Superior Court. I think judicial races are difficult for people to decide what to do with. And so I have a couple of thoughts as to what it is that you all should be looking at in making your decisions on endorsement and for whom to vote. First of all, I think it's important to look at what the candidate's current job is. My current job is a commissioner with the Alameda Superior Court. I sit in Fremont at the Hall of Justice there in Department 603, where I preside over a criminal infraction calendar that mostly consists of violations of the Vehicle Code, but also sometimes violations of the Fish and Game Code, Business and Professions Code, and the Health and Safety Code. In my current position, I hear I hear several hundred cases a week. And it's very important with a volume like that to make sure that every person is treated fairly, thoughtfully. They're given a forum in which to be heard and to be respected and afforded due process of law. I think the other thing to look at when you decide who to vote for Superior Court judge or whom to endorse in this context is to look at what their past work has been. Prior to being appointed as a commissioner, I was a lawyer for 28 years. Of that time, 100% of my time was spent in litigation, meaning courtroom work. I have, over my 28 years, I have handled both criminal cases and civil cases. On the criminal side, I have prosecuted cases. I worked as a deputy district attorney in Santa Clara County for a number of years, but I've also served to represent indigent people when they are accused of crimes. I served on the Alameda County court-appointed panel to represent people where the public defender's office had a conflict. I also spent 8 years as a prosecutor with the Securities and Exchange Commission, where I prosecuted cases of corporate fraud and malfeasance where members of the investment public or members of the public were defrauded by corporations. Let's see, in terms of my work now, in addition to serving in the court itself, I'm also, or I recently rotated off, but I served on the court's outreach and elimination of bias committee, where I worked really on issues related to making sure that courtrooms are respective of the diversity of the community that we serve, in particular with a focus on the LGBTQ+ community, women, communities of color, the AAPI community, the African American community, and the Latinx community. And I enjoyed that work thoroughly. And I think that commitment was also reflected in the fact that I was appointed by the Chief Justice of the California Supreme Court to serve in a Judicial Council Advisory Committee, which is tasked with making sure that our traffic courts, which are some of the busiest courts in the state, do their best to fairly and appropriately serve the communities that we all serve. I'll briefly say that I'm endorsed by the Alameda County Democratic Party. I'm endorsed by SEIU 1021. That endorsement is particularly meaningful to me because SEIU 1021 represents the people who work in the courts and allow me to do the job I do day in and day out. I'm also pleased to be endorsed by 35 current current or recently retired Superior Court judges and commissioners. So that's roughly half of the judges and commissioners of the Superior Court. I'd like to conclude by saying that I was honored to receive your endorsement 4 years ago, and I very much hope to receive your endorsement again tonight. And again, thank you to everybody for taking the time to listen to me.
Thank you. And that is time, and that's perfect time. Let me cancel this out, and I'm gonna remove your spotlight. And Mr. Johnson, are you on? Let me find you here and spotlight you. I saw you a minute ago.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, if you talk, and I can find you. There we go. Let me put a spotlight on you.
All right.
And I don't know if you were on when I spoke earlier, but we're going to do 5 minutes.
I was on.
And you'll see the clock in the corner, and it'll start changing colors as you get closer. And then we will follow it up with some time up no more than 20 minutes for the entire question answer period from the group, depending on how many questions we have. So I'm going to go ahead and start your clock now for 5 minutes.
Great. Thank you, Jackie. And thank you all for giving me the opportunity to speak with you tonight. I took some notes on what to say this evening, so I'd be honoring your timeline. So please forgive me as I look at my screen. I've been a licensed to practice law for the past 33 years. I'm also licensed to practice before the United States Supreme Court. I've worked on hundreds of cases in both the trial courts and before regulatory bodies. I'm proud to have established a broad legal experience in the areas of consumer law, real estate, civil, corporate, criminal, healthcare, data privacy, AI, telecommunications, media, government, and regulatory law, just to name a few, in both the courtroom as well as in the boardroom. And for the past 4 years, I've run my own courtroom as a temporary judge in Alameda County Superior Court, certified to hear traffic, civil harassment, family, and small claims matters. I'm proud to have earned the reputation of being efficient, pragmatic, hardworking, knowledgeable, a careful listener, and most importantly, that I reach fair decisions. I'm honored and proud of the many endorsements that I've received from current and retired Alameda County judges and judges from other counties as well. I'm also very proud and honored that the Alameda County Superior Court presiding judge, Judge Charles Smiley, who has personally observed me in court, has stated that my work as a temporary judge, quote, ranks among the finest in the Alameda County Superior Court, end quote. For decades, I've spent my legal career helping Alameda County residents in their moments of hardship to secure legal equality and access to justice, not only as an attorney and temporary judge, but in my capacities as past president and member of the Alameda County Bar Association, lifetime member and general counsel for the Charles Houston Bar Association and Charles Houston Bar Institute, which is a nonprofit African-American bar organization, past president of the ACBA Volunteer Legal Services Corporation, which is now Legal Access Alameda, a mentor to De Anza High School Law Project and Oakland Tech Race and Policy and Law Pathway Program, an active member of the 100 Black Men of the Bay Area, and a volunteer in the Alameda County Lawyers and the Library Legal Clinic. As an African-American raised by my mother and maternal grandmother, I was taught to not only be accountable for my actions, but to persevere through life's struggles and have compassion for others in their times of need. Together with my wife, Katrina, we pass those values along to our daughter. I strongly believe that the judiciary in Alameda County should reflect the diversity of our community and provide impartiality and equal access to justice for all. It's my honor to serve as a role model for those in various underprivileged and underrepresented communities when I volunteer in the community as an attorney or when I serve as a temporary judge. As a judge, I will continue to use all my experience, compassion, and integrity to ensure that every person that comes before me is accountable under the law and has equal access to justice regardless of their social status. More importantly, I will always continue in my commitment to fairness and impartiality for all matters, both inside and outside my courtroom. With my 33 years of legal experience and extensive community involvement, you can be sure that I'll be dedicated to justice for Alameda County. I'd be honored to receive your endorsement and vote on March the 5th to be your next Alameda County Superior Court judge. Thank you.
And thank you. That was under time. And so this next, let's see, it's 7:50. So We will allow no more up to 8:10 for question and answer, though I don't think it's going to go that long.
Excuse me.
And we will alternate. Let me pin Mark. So we're going to pin you both. So you're both up on the screen. There we go. And so we're going to start with Mr. Johnson, the question going to you first, and then followed by Commissioner Fickes. And we're going to start with the question from Van Rainey.
Hi, Van.
So not wanting you to, comment directly on District Attorney Price's recall campaign, but I'm wondering what you guys think about the issues that have been raised as a result of this recall campaign and where you stand on some of those issues.
Can you be more specific, Van? What issues are you referring to?
Well, like the liberalization, of, the prosecution of people, the I can't remember all the things that that she's being accused of, but the just the issue of, I think, liberalization, and I'm not discounting or defaming any liberalization, but I'm just wondering how your perspectives, stand up against that particular effort to equalize justice across the various constituencies in the community.
Well, if I'm understanding, thank you,
Does that
Van.
make sense?
I think I understand what you're getting at. If I understand your question correctly, that's a political question. And that's a question that I cannot answer under the canon of ethics, judicial ethics. We're not allowed to answer political questions or share with you our own personal political views. But I will say that as a judge, I'm duty bound to follow the prevailing law at the time and to apply that to every case that comes before me with impartiality.
And then same question.
I wasn't aware that I was stepping on political there.
No. If I can just add, Jackie, if I could just add, I think that's great because, it's interesting to have a judicial election because one of the things that we can do as candidates, or at least I try to do, is, let the public know, the voting public know what we can and cannot do, how important this role is, and the confines that we have to adhere by at all times. So I appreciate your question 100%.
Commissioner, do you want to comment on that, sir?
Yes, I will. And Vin, thank you for the question as well. And as my opponent noted, in terms of specific viewpoints of cases or controversies that are about to come before the court, Canon 5 of the Canon of Judicial Ethics, which apply to me as a sitting Superior Court Commissioner, mean that I cannot answer that question. What I can say, though, experientially, though, is that when I've represented people as part of the court-appointed attorneys panel, we saw a growth in the use of various diversion programs, such as the drug courts and such like that, as a way to address issues in the criminal justice system that the legislature, for various reasons, decided might be helped by creating special courts to deal with people, for example, that are afflicted with addiction. I note, for example, that my good friend and endorser, Judge Sharon Jamal, is now one of 2 judges who sits on what are called our collaborative courts. We now have a mental health court, a veterans court, I believe a misdemeanor diversion court, and there's 1 or 2 other collaborative courts. So the court itself is looking at ways to address root causes of crime. I really can't say that I endorse them or not, but I would welcome the opportunity to serve in that capacity should I be elected as a judge of the Superior Court.
Thank you.
Before we go to Matt with his hand raised, I do see Dolly, wait, who was it here? Kashef Quadri put in a question a while ago. What have you or will you do to increase diversity in our courtrooms? And we'll give the first answer to Commissioner Fickes.
Well, again, judicial officers, or in my case, I'm what's called a subordinate judicial officer because I'm not a judge, I am a commissioner. We can't really effectuate social policy changes within the courts. But here's what I can tell you. Since I was appointed early last year as a commissioner, I have served on the court's Elimination of Bias, Diversity, and Outreach Committee, which is vested with the responsibility of looking at ways to interact with the public at large in order to educate people in terms of practices and procedures, in order to make sure that we really do our best to make the court a inclusive and diverse space, and more importantly, a space in which people from the many diverse communities have an opportunity to feel that they are treated equally with everyone else. And to that end, I was instrumental in putting together what's called a bench and bar event last November that was attended by both judges, commissioners, members of the public, and lawyers. And it was called Inclusivity in the Courthouse, where I helped bring together people from the LGBTQ, Latinx, African American communities, women lawyers of Alameda County, and people from the AAPI community, so that we could hold a public forum to talk about people's specific experiences with either racism, ableism, or other forms of bias within the court system. We also had my friend and endorser, Judge Noel Wise, presented that. And the whole goal is to make sure that the courts are accessible to people, to show people in the public and to show attorneys in the public that we are mindful of the need to both embrace the diversity of the constituents who come before us, and I see several hundred people every week, and to let people know that the courts are aware of concerns and that we as a body are working to make sure that we address those concerns.
And Mr. Johnson.
Yes, ma'am. So thank you. So one of the ways the court can show its commitment to diversity is by retaining judges like me, should I win this election. You know, we have a largely diverse ethnic population in the Bay Area and in this county. I think out of 71 judges, maybe only 5 or 6 are African American, if my calculations are correct. It's good for people in the community, disenfranchised people in the community, ethnic people in the community, to see people that look like them on the bench. That has great resource for just letting the population know that people that look like them or people that may have similar backgrounds to them are there in those positions of authority. Also, while the court does have a commitment to diversity, after having sit on the Bench Bar Coalition, which is the Judicial Council's committee that works on funding for the courts and programs for the courts, diversity is lacking. And one of the things that the court is working on, and one of the things that the Superior Court and Judicial Council are working on, and we acknowledge that that is something that is a deficit for the court at this time. So by having someone like me on the bench to reach back out to the community, to be a trailblazer, if you will, or to be a representative back out to the community, which I've done as a temporary judge, and also reached out through my various capacities in various offices to the court, it creates that pathway, it creates that back and forth, it creates that goal of having diverse people on the bench. Thank you.
Thank you. And Matt, with your hand raised.
All right, I wanted to thank you both for coming on tonight for this meeting. My question is simply just around endorsements when running a judicial election. Beyond that, which both of you have to abide by in judicial canons, I'm just wondering, are there any special imposed requirements that both of you have as far as not accepting any endorsements just for the sake of impartiality, for example, when you think of prosecutors, law enforcement, public defenders?
And this time we'll start with Mr. Johnson.
Great. Thank you, Matt. That's a good question. You know, whenever you get an endorsement in a judicial campaign, and this is my first one, I haven't done this before, but what I've learned and what I have been taught is that you want to look at an endorsement that doesn't create the appearance of impropriety. By that, it's a legal term, but it means that to the outside world, those who endorse you right? You don't want to have an opportunity to have anyone that's related to them. And by that, I mean like their business or working with them or whatnot, potentially come in front of you, right? Because that creates a view of or a fear of that you're not being fair or impartial. So when you pick your endorsers, for example, let's just say judges, my opponent and I have a lot of the same endorsers. But when it comes to public officials, you do not want to have public officials that are either embroiled in a controversy or whose position may create something down the line where they or their representatives may come in front of you, right? The judge is supposed to remain impartial at all times, period, without exception. And so that when I look at endorsements and when I look at those that I'd like to partner with in this campaign, that's my first and foremost concern. Thank you.
And Commissioner.
Yes, I'd agree largely with what my opponent said. I don't think there are specific restrictions on who can endorse us or not. I'm going to broaden your question a little bit, if I may, which is the other question to me is, from whom will I accept money? And I, for example, have made a conscious decision, even though the ethics rules allow me to accept money from people who appear in front of me in court every day. I made a conscientious decision to return contributions from people who appear before me. As for the broader issues, as for the broad issue, I would just say this. I don't know that there's anybody I would refuse or not refuse to accept an endorsement from, although I do agree, because I preside over a criminal calendar in particular, I would decline endorsements from law enforcement, for example, and such like that. There are some criminal defense attorneys who have endorsed me. And I have to sort of think through that, but there is no category of people I'm prohibited from taking an endorsement from. The ethical issue is, if I'm elected or if I were to be appointed judge by the governor, for example, what are the circumstances in which I would have to disclose that endorsement in order to allow people to argue for recusal, or what are the circumstances under which I would recuse myself?
Okay, thank you. Any other questions from the room? Seeing none, I'm going to go ahead and offer you both to do another closing statement, a brief closing statement, and we'll start with Commissioner Fickes.
All right. Well, again, thank you everyone for the time and the opportunity to speak to you all. Very briefly, there are some terms that got thrown around a lot tonight, and I want to make sure everyone understands them. A commissioner is someone who is employed by the Alameda County Superior Court to hear cases and controversies every day of the week. A pro tem or temporary judge, such as the work that Mr. Johnson does, they provide a valuable resource to the court in the sense that if, for example, when judges or commissioners go on vacation or we're out sick or we're at trainings, they fill in for us. Really, one of the major differences is if you're talking about small claims or traffic court, members of the public who appear before me as a commissioner really don't have a chance to say, no, I really don't want to appear in front of me. Whereas someone can always decline the opportunity to have their case heard by a temporary judge. I don't really want to repeat myself in my list of endorsers, but what I would like to do is to note, importantly, as I said before, that I am endorsed by 35 judges and commissioners of the Superior Court. That's roughly half, give or take, including many who serve in the current and past courts administration. I'm endorsed by the retiring judge whose position I'm running to fill. And actually, I want to conclude with an unsolicited endorsement I received on my website from a local attorney, because I think he probably can say things a little bit better than I can myself. And this attorney, a criminal defense attorney, wrote, "Commissioner Fickes is compassionate, kind, considerate, and quite frankly, a fantastic communicator. He has an aura about him that I have seldom seen. Having worked with him regularly for more than a year, appearing before him 3 to 5 times a week, I grow increasingly confident that Commissioner Fickes has not only the experience, composure, and commitment to justice, but also that special ingredient to be a standout judge who commands respect and upholds the law while remaining accessible and relatable to the average person. I endorse him wholeheartedly. He is a breath of fresh air." And the reason that's so meaningful to me is my primary goal is to make sure that everyone who comes into my court feels that they are treated with dignity and respect, and that they are afforded due process of law. Thank you again. I note if elected, I would be only the 4th or 5th openly gay man to serve on the Superior Court. I agree with Mr. Johnson that diversity matters. And then finally, again, thank you to the club members who endorsed me 4 years ago, and I certainly hope that you will endorse me again tonight. Have a good evening, everyone.
Thank you. And Mr. Johnson, closing statements.
Yes, Jackie, thank you very much. It's been an honor to be able to go through this campaign and to be able to speak with you all tonight. I think your questions are fantastic. Engaging with you on the committee and voters, answering these questions has been the highlight, actually, of this entire campaign. One of the roles that we play as a judge or as a judicial candidate is helping to engage with the community and teach the community as to exactly what a judge does, what's the judge's role and how important it is. And hopefully we've been able to do some of that tonight. The depiction or description of what the role that I've served as temporary judge by my opponent is disingenuous, but he's entitled to his opinion. I just want you all to reflect on the opinion of the presiding judge, who's the boss of both my opponent and me, regarding my judicial ability. I think that speaks volumes. At all times, we're supposed to be ethical. At all times, I have been ethical. At all times, I will be ethical and fair and open and transparent to anyone who comes in front of me on the bench, any matter that I hear, and I'll make sure that both sides are given an ample and equal opportunity to be heard. And I sincerely hope that I've earned your endorsement and your vote on March the 5th. Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you to both of you. And I'm going to remove your spotlight. Again, you're welcome to stay through the end of our meeting, especially if you've joined and are members, you can even vote. So what I'm going to do is we are going to, Richard, I think I'm going to need your help here in getting the ballot sent to the members who are online now. And then I'll help you out as soon as we get going on the Central Committee. Next up, actually, before we move to the Central Committee, I would like to do the consent vote on the candidates that have already been endorsed by the state party as well as the Central Committee. We never did do endorsements for these candidates. And these are Eric Swalwell, the Honorable Mark DeSallier, and Rebecca Bauer-Cahan for Assembly District 16.
I'd
like to make a motion.
I'll be happy to second it.
Okay, a first and a second. All those in favor, say aye.
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 All those oppose, say nay. Hearing none, the ayes have it. That passes unanimously. Thank you. So now on to the Central Committee. We're going to start. Let's see. First off, all my Central Committee candidates, can you raise your hand so I can see where you are? And see how many we ended up with tonight. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, including me. And then Dolly. Okay, I see Dolly there. 10, 11. Anybody else? I'm not seeing. Okay. Bear with me here. What we're going to do with Central Committee is we're going to give 3 minutes for each speaker to tell us why we should consider you, what race you're running in. We have two. We have AD Assembly District 16 and then AD 20. I have Hines, Harris. Melissa Hernandez was going to have somebody speak for her. Is there, whoever's going to speak for Melissa, are they on right now? Okay.
I think that was JP. JP, are you on?
I'm here, but I'm not the representative for Melissa.
Yeah, I think
For
that was my
myself.
mistake. JP's actually running an AD20.
Right.
So
I
that's
could,
an addition.
I could speak on Melissa because I'm speaking on behalf of everybody on my slate. So, which is
Okay,
AD20, including Melissa. So,
great. So Robin, raise your hand so we put you in queue. Dolly, can you raise your virtual hand? So we have you in queue, so we see you guys. And what we're gonna do is put the timer on for 3 minutes. Let me get my app up. We're gonna put the timer on for 3 minutes. And first up, we're gonna go Cheryl, followed by Joseph, followed by Julie. And each candidate will have 3 minutes. And let me, whoops, get the timer back up there. You'll see the timer up in the right-hand corner. And it'll start turning yellow and then finally red when we get close. And we're going to start with Cheryl. So Cheryl, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Okay.
And time has started.
Okay, thank you very much. And before I even launch into this, I want to tell this club how much I appreciate the advocacy that you have shown me throughout the years. You've always been very supportive, and I know that you take your decisions and your endorsements very seriously. So thank you for that. I am running on the Pragmatic Progressive slate with Jackie, one of your hosts today, Trish Moreau, and Jan Park. We are running because we want to focus on civil discourse. We don't always agree, but we have really substantive conversations, and we think that that is extremely important, as well as respect for people's opinions and making sure that we do this based on evidence. We also want to get things done. We want to make sure that we're focused on issues that affect the entire community in Alameda County, and that we work very hard to identify quality Democratic candidates and get them elected. And of course, because of my position on the Alameda County School Board, of which I serve as vice president, so I'm particularly interested this year in making sure that we get quality candidates for school board, because I'm seeing firsthand what happens when we don't have that. I think that we are all volunteers, and we all feel very passionately about what we do, and that should be celebrated. It is very, very hard work, and it's likely to be even harder in the next year. So I'm asking that you vote for Jackie, Trish, Jan, and myself, AD16, the Pragmatic Progressives, for Central Committee. Thank you very much. And I'm short, I'm, other than being short in stature, I was short in terms of time also, which I'm never.
We weren't going to call you short, Cheryl.
Well, that's okay. Call it like you see it. That's what I'm all about. Call it like you see it. Thank you. And thanks for having me.
Thanks. And thanks for the
Are
good
all names,
club.
are
Go
all
ahead.
names from that slate going to be on the ballot? Or only those presenting tonight?
No, all of the names will be on the ballot. Jackie could not be here tonight. She had a family commitment that involved
You mean Trish?
child's birth. I don't mean Jackie. I meant Trish. Jackie's here all the time. She lives here. But Trish had a commitment with her family that included an elderly relative and a grandchild. So she did call me this afternoon, and I failed to mention how much she appreciated your consideration in this.
And Van, tonight we will not be voting on Central Committee. I kind of thought it was too self-serving to put my name on the ballot in front of my club and ask you all to vote for me. So I thought I'd just be more fair, more democratic, and invite people to speak. But I am looking for endorsers. So if you all want to endorse me, send me your name and I'll put it up somewhere. And next up to speak, Joseph, if you want to mute yourself.
Hi, everyone. I'm very excited to be here. Thank you so much, Jackie, for putting this on. My name is Joey. I'm a proud member of the Tri-Valley Democratic Club. I'm 22 years old, which you don't often see from, this politics in general. But I am from Pleasanton, born and raised. I'm the only candidate here from AD20 in the Tri-Valley, to my knowledge. I went to Foothill, graduated, and I've been here my entire life, for the exception of the 2 years that I was at UCLA. Building off of Cheryl's point, one of the things that I think is really important is getting Democrats elected. I organized with Josh Harder in 2022. I was one of the key people who was connected with the Alameda County Democratic Party in getting many of the people to come out and support Josh Harder. I worked very closely with Rhodesia Ransom, who was another candidate who I think was endorsed by the Tri-Valley for the state Senate run. That was, everything that happened there. But I worked very closely with Rhodesia Ransom to get one of the largest Democratic victories in a competitive race. And I think that's something that's an experience that's going to be extremely important on the Central Committee going forward. As we saw, Trump, is probably going to be the Republican nominee. We're going to have a battle for the soul of democracy, for the soul of our country. And we're going to need experienced organizers that are on the ground, ready to help get Democrats elected up and down the ballot. I'm a big supporter of labor. I'd be remiss to not state that where the Central Committee meets today is where my grandfather met in his union hall with the Teamsters. He is why I'm here today. He was a big supporter of labor, very big advocate, and he built a life for himself because he was a part of a labor union. I'm also a big supporter of Medicare for all. I know CalCare is going to be a big thing that's going to be in the upcoming legislature. I want to help support that effort because I know firsthand what healthcare access means to our communities. I've gotten
I'm sorry. I forgot to turn on the timer. I think we were getting pretty close. I'm going to give you about 15 more seconds to finish up. I'm sorry, sir.
Yeah, no worries. I'm supported by Marcel Rubio Arun-Goel, received the sole endorsement of the California Young Democrats, and I'm running with the People Powered Progressives, and I would love to ask for your support. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And then next up, Scott, you want to unmute yourself?
Hi, thank you. I'm Scott Sakakihara. I'm on the City Council in Union City. Thank you for letting me speak today. I'm running for AD20 Democratic Central Committee, and I first got involved in Democratic politics as an intern and then as a fellow in Congress, and then in the first year of the Obama administration, I was in the Office of Political Affairs, and then I was on Barbara Boxer's 2010 reelection campaign. And then fast forward to last year, or 2022, and I ran for the first time for City Council and also walked for Aisha Wahab that cycle and ran with the support of the party and labor. And I'm running for two main reasons. The first one that I've heard other folks mention as well is to focus the Central Committee on electing Democrats. So specifically, I'm a little self-interested in Union City, that on the council we do have, it's a deep blue city like most cities around here, but we do have 2 of the 5 members of City Council are Republicans. And so, it hits close to home to me that I want to make sure that the party is focusing on fundraising and field outreach. And then the second reason is I just want to make sure the party's working collaboratively. So I think embracing a diverse set of backgrounds and life experiences, that leads us to a diverse set of viewpoints and ways of thinking. And I think we need to take a collaborative, inclusive approach that's respectful and empathetic to everyone. And I will listen more than I will speak. And in that vein, I will yield the rest of my time. So thank you.
Thank you. And let's see, next up, Ed.
Thank you very much. Go ahead.
Go ahead. I didn't want to miss the timer.
No worries. Well, good evening. Thank you, Tri-Valley Dems, for the opportunity to say a few words this evening. As we know, I'm Ed Hernandez, a former council member in the city of San Leandro, a current Eden Health District Director that focuses on improving the health outcomes of about 400,000 residents in the areas of Castro Valley, Hayward, San Leandro, and nearby unincorporated areas, but also president of San Leandro Democratic Club. And, upcoming on Saturday, January 20th at the San Leandro Main Library, we'll have another forum in person. Hopefully y'all can come out and see some of these candidates in person as well. But I also serve on the AVA Community Advisory Committee there. We're looking to help bring forth clean and green energy job. It's noted that was part of your logo, as well as appointed to the Alameda County Fair Board for about 8 years. So hopefully we'll see you there that summer. And finally, an associate member of the Democratic Central Committee. I'm running for Central Committee because I have a range of experience in change management, politics, policy, and a master's in organizational development from the University of San Francisco that would allow me to implement impactful, meaningful policies with the needed ground rules so the committee can be more effective and aligned to the needs and improve the lives of Alameda County residents by endorsing collaborative and passionate community leaders who will work to improve our quality of lives, affecting public safety, and promoting economic development in our region, as well as upholding and protecting the democratic values we uphold in these communities, our communities. So I'm just looking for you to endorse me, Ed Hernandez, for Central Committee in AD20. And last thing again, I can mention on Saturday, this upcoming Saturday afternoon, the San Leandro Main Library, come out, meet me in person, meet the rest of the folks at San Leandro, join us for some live refreshments. I'm hoping to collaborate with the Tri-Valley Dems, and someday maybe we can get that fancy award that you have by the Central Committee. But again, Ed Hernandez, hopefully you can come out and endorse me and support me. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yeah, we love our fancy award. Don't we, Robin?
Well deserved.
Well deserved.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, next up, Harris. You want to unmute yourself?
Good evening, Tri-Valley Democrats. My name is Harris Mojadidi. I am a lifelong Democrat and resident of South Alameda County. And although I wasn't in We the People, I consider myself a student of Cheryl Cook-Callio, who has been just a mentor to me the past 15 years. I have the honor of serving on the Chabot Las Positas Community College District Board of Trustees, and I'm really proud to represent Pleasanton, Livermore, and Dublin on this college board. It has given me an awareness into the issues that affect both South County and East County, and it has enlightened me in my experience. And honestly, why I'm running for the Central Committee is I'm just heartbroken at the state that I see it in right now. The incivility, the vitriol, the hate that has become a cornerstone of this body that is supposed to represent the 5th most diverse county in the United States. Like, it just, we need grown-ups in the room. We need to do the important work of ensuring that we are registering new Democrats, that we're fundraising for these critical seats, because as we see right now, there's so much hate, and unfortunately our county is in the midst of it. Some of the other priorities I have, if elected, are to really ensure that we are being inclusive of at-risk populations. It's our responsibility to ensure new immigrant and refugee populations become Democrats. Our services, we have to translate it. We need in-language services. We need to translate, because these communities are registering as declined to state, and there's a reason, because we are not being inclusive. We're not doing that work of promoting our party, the party that has given me and my family so much. I'm the child of refugees from Afghanistan, and today I have the honor of serving as an assistant dean at the University of California, Berkeley, and that would not be possible without this party. We're here today on Martin Luther King Jr. Day, and I think about the Civil Rights Act and the way that it shaped my life and our lives here in Alameda County. And so I'm running to ensure that we can continue to be that party that is inclusive of all, and that we can do that work to ensure that our most at-risk populations are being served. And I'm so grateful to be a part of the 20th AD Democratic Coalition with some amazing colleagues. And I know you're not endorsing this evening. Would be honored to have your vote if you live in the 20th Assembly District. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, and again, we aren't endorsing, but this is good information to have. And for those who aren't familiar with why we're endorsing or why we're listening to AD20, it's because Dublin is now part of AD20. So we do have some folks running out of the Tri-Valley. So we're all one big happy family now. Next up is Heinz. If you could unmute yourself, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Jackie. And hello, Tri-Valley Democratic Club. I am Heinz Greiner. I'm here to throw my hat in the ring for a member seat on the Central Committee of Assembly District 20. I'm a Bay Area native. I've been raised here, proud to call AD20 my home for decades. I've seen the community evolve, some good, some not so good, but we've made strides. But we're still grappling with challenges like community blight, mental health support, homelessness, food insecurity, even though we live in the breadbasket of the US. California boasts the world's 5th largest economy, but it's time to ensure that the prosperity reaches everyone, not just the businesses. I'm deeply connected to my community, and I'm dedicated to driving positive change. I believe I can effectively represent our values and champion our interests on the Central Committee. As a Central Committee member, my aim is unity, finding common ground on shared issues, while skillfully navigating those where our views might differ. I wholeheartedly embrace the Democratic Party's diversity, and I'm eager to collaborate in tackling the community's challenges. As a committed Democrat, I prioritize key issues: crime, homelessness, women's reproductive rights, sensible gun regulations, topics where our unity is pretty clear. Yet I'm also keen on exploring fresh, innovative approaches, for instance, addressing food insecurity, food waste, whether it's supermarkets discarding ugly produce or excess food production in retirement homes and restaurants. Minimizing waste can tackle multiple problems, including climate crisis. My governance revolves around a community involvement, ensuring our residents' voices shape legislative decisions. I champion collaborative solutions that benefit all constituents. I believe in finding common ground through cooperation. I've experience in program and project management for 20 years across diverse sections. The largest asset manager in the world, the DOJ, not-for-profits. I've excelled in collaborative environments. I've steered multi-million-dollar budgets, consistently meeting objectives. My diligence and attention to detail and focus make me an ideal candidate for AD20. And I'm eager to hear from you. I'm enthusiastic about cooperating with the Tri-Valley Democratic Club members. I want to understand your priorities. I want to explore ways to forge a brighter future for AD20. I encourage you to reach out and share your thoughts and insights. Thank you for your time and your consideration on my candidacy. I'm eager for the opportunity to serve and represent our community. Thank you, Jackie, and thank you, Tri-Valley.
Thank you, Heinz, and that is time. And next up is, where'd she go? Barisha? I saw you there and then you went away. Are you on the call? Interesting. JP, do you want to unmute yourself? And let me start the clock.
Hey, good evening. Thank you so much for having us today. My name is JP Sahi, and I'm a longtime Union City resident in AD20. And interestingly, started my journey with the Democratic Party in Kansas in the 1990s as a college student. Being in California has brought multiple opportunities to work towards the party platform and make a bigger impact. I am currently an appointed associate to the Central Committee, and I'm running with the people-powered progressive slates. And important to me is that the Central Committee has diversity and representation similar to the population of the county. So I'm glad we have a very diverse group of individuals on our slate running for Central Committee. I'm the CEO of volunteer-driven nonprofit free medical clinics, and I understand the works, all the work it takes to resolve the inequity in basic healthcare services. And I understand systems and how folks navigate through some of these systems. And as you can tell, my passion, 2 areas of passion are healthcare safety net programs and public education. And there are still significant disparities in both healthcare and public education. And even with all the healthcare programs that we have, there's still thousands of Californians who lack the basic healthcare services, as I see in my clinics every day. I'm a strong advocate for resources, more resources for healthcare, including mental health, and addressing the issues of homelessness and finding solutions that work for a broader community. It's not one size fits all. I would like to bring better organization and focus on issues that matter to our county at the Central Committee. It's also important to ensure that candidates that follow the Democratic platform are elected, especially in local, school, and city races. As Scott mentioned, it's really crucial in Union City, and he mentioned the ratio of our current city council. In 2022, I canvassed for and worked on the campaigns for Aisha Wahab and Liz Ortega. I'm also a current Alameda County Public Health Commissioner, and I hope to get your support and bring more diversity to the Central Committee. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks. I canceled that. And then next up, Dolly, can you unmute yourself?
Hi. Okay, I didn't really prepare a speech, so we'll do the best we can here, what I wrote in this few minutes. Hello, Tri-Valley Democrats. I am currently Vice President of the Castro Valley School Board. I've lived in Castro Valley for 32 years now. As you know, many people in Castro Valley often frequent businesses, restaurants, and whatnot in the Tri-Valley area. You know, things like Club Sport or Kaiser, or many different types of businesses. So I wanted to mention that because many Castro Valley residents are often in the Tri-Valley area. My three main areas of focus are education, healthcare, and the environment. I have previously served as a delegate for the 20th AD for the Democratic Party. In my education role, the Castro Valley School Board has been very pro LGBTQ. We have we have painted up flags and signs and put up the flags, our policies. Also, more recently, we've been into equitable grading. We have a wellness center that first was dealing with mental health. And then now we have a clinic that's open to all people in Castro Valley, a medical center that is on Castro Valley High School grounds. Let's see. I've previously served as a delegate. Oh, I said that. I've been part of the Castro Valley Democratic Club on the executive board for, I don't know, like about 15 years. I've been a member of the Castro Valley Democratic Club for 27 years because that's how old my daughter is. And I'm currently a member at large, past president. I am also, let's see, a pro-union member of CTA. I'm a part-time teacher at Hayward High right now, retired and part-time teacher. Member of League of Women Voters, Sierra Club, the AAUW, American Association of University Women, TWR, Together Women Rise. I went on a trip to Tanzania, Africa this summer that was just out of this world fabulous. Let's see, I'm an associate for the ACDCC and have been for a few years now, and thought it's time for me to actually be a voting member of the organization. I'm also part of the People Powered Progressive group here, which includes Victor Aguilar, myself, Dolly Adams, Austin Bruckner, Jatinder Sahai, Barisha Spriggs, Joseph Morrow, and Anish Mohanady.
And thank you. That is time.
Yeah, thank you.
And Julie, do you want to unmute yourself? And while we're doing this, I'll start your timer in just a second.
Sure.
Richard, if you could help me while we're having these folks finish up speaking, start to email that are sent, excuse me, not email. You can send it right through the link through the chat to members.
Can I just interrupt really quickly for like 20 seconds?
Sure, sure.
I just sent out the ballots. If you're on the list that I just put in the chat, you should have received a ballot. Joan, I don't have your email. I have Lynn's email. If you want to put in your email in the chat, then I can also have that sent to you. And then for Valerie, I don't have Brian's email on hand, but I just sent you the form and you can just submit it twice, once for yourself and once for Brian. And if anybody did not get a ballot and think they should get a ballot, just chat me in the chat.
We can also send directly through a chat. Richard, you can do a direct message through the chat.
That too, yeah.
So if you could help me finish up those guys. And then, I'm sorry, where did our speaker go? Julie?
I'm here, yeah.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt
okay.
you.
That's okay.
So let me get my timer up. And we're gonna give you 3 minutes to speak.
Great, thank you. And thank you for hearing from all the candidates tonight and listening to our, what we have to say to hopefully get your support for the election. So I'm Julie Roach. I'm a Hayward City Council member. I'm a Bay Area native. I'm a mom of 2 school-age kids here in Hayward, and I'm an attorney. I'm running for Central Committee in AD20 on the 20th Assembly District Democratic Coalition 2024 slate. And I know Robin's going to talk about some of the other members on our slate. So I'll hold off. I'll let her do that. I have been a lifelong Democrat. I started my political career in Washington, D.C., working on the Select Committee on Hunger. And then I moved to work to get congressional Democrats elected, mainly in Colorado for then Senator Mark Udall, Congresswoman Diana DeGette. And then I served as the Colorado Democratic Party compliance officer, both for state and federal election compliance. I'm currently an attorney. I volunteer for senior legal services, hearing the challenges of seniors in our communities, and that helps inform the policy work that I'm doing here in Hayward. I'm also the past state vice chair and the current secretary of the California Democratic Irish American Democratic Caucus. So that's been really fun and interesting to get to know that committee. I'm running for Central Committee because after serving on various commissions in Hayward, running for now serving in council, I thought it was time to commit to our county party, bring my many years of Democratic political experience to the committee, and keep Democrats elected in Alameda County up and down the ballot. Our coalition is committed to protecting democracy, bringing civility and professional-ism. I know there have been concerns in the party, and I would just hope to be a voice of collaboration and inclusivity and positivity. That was what I ran with as a platform when I ran for city council, collaboration and positivity, and I would like to continue to bring those values to the Democratic Party. I and my slate mates would appreciate your vote for our slate, the 20th Assembly District Democratic Coalition. And it's been great hearing from everybody tonight, and I hope we can count on your support in March. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And Robin.
Hi there. I have a statement from Melissa and then Hernandez, and then and I'm going to use her name instead of I, so it doesn't sound like it's from me because she's done a lot more than I have. So anyway, at least on serving. Anyway, so I don't know how you want to do this. Do you want to?
Oh, let me restart it.
Okay.
Okay, go.
So I'll try to make this it's very long, so I'll try to shorten it. Hi, as the mayor of a thriving city in Tri-Valley and Alameda County, Melissa is seeking the endorsement, which we know now will not happen, but wanted to bring this message to the Tri-Valley Democratic Party. During her tenure as a council member and mayor, she's demonstrated exemplary leadership and unwavering dedication to her city's values, and have a proven track record of effective governance and commitment to inclusivity, social justice, and community engagement. Initiatives she brought forward focused on creating equitable opportunities for all residents and addressing pressing community issues. For example, she championed an all abilities park for persons with disability and led the development of the first housing project for disabled individuals in Dublin. Melissa has consistently shown a commitment to inclusivity, social justice, and community engagement. by bringing initiatives that created opportunities for residents, such as the Dublin Access Bridge Program in Tri-Valley, addressing mental health issues and providing behavioral health clinicians to assist residents during crisis. She is also the chair of the Valley Link to lead conversations of the first hydrogen rail train in Northern California, and is the chair of LAVTA. She worked towards clean and green buses to provide rides for all. In terms of public safety, she prioritized not only police and fire services, but also traffic signals and increased bike lanes, and spearheaded the 30-acre Don Biddle Park and groundbreaking of many parks, providing residents with spaces to gather. As mayor, Melissa has ensured our city's financial responsibility by adopting strong budgets and collaborating with mayors in Tri-Valley and Alameda County to get things done. As a staunch advocate for democratic principles, she's well positioned to represent the party's values on the Democratic Central Committee by signing on to her candidacy. Would not only strengthen the committee, but also contribute to the advancement of democratic ideas in the Tri-Valley region.
Good job, Robin. Thank you so much. And I do want to also mention Melissa has been a longtime club member.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
So then I'm going to try me. Okay.
Oh.
I'll try to be faster. So everybody wants to go to bed, I'm sure. Am I ready? Okay. Good evening. My name is Robin Torello. I want to thank you, Jackie, and the club for the opportunity to present my candidacy for the Alameda County Democratic Party for the March 5th primary. I'm running with 7 other wonderful candidates on the 20th Assembly District Democratic Coalition. They are Honorables Alyssa Marquez, Supervisor Marquez, as I said, Mayor Melissa Hernandez, Honorable Julie Roche of the Hayward City Council, Harris Mojadidi, which you just heard from, and Honorable Scott Kihara that you just heard from, along with Honorable Aisha Knowles of the Alameda County Education Board, and Karina Lopez, who is a former elected member of the San Leandro City Council and have been a longtime member of the Alameda County Democratic Party. We are running to bring back civility, professionalism, inclusivity, and collaboration to the Central Committee organization. I have served on the Central Committee since 1993 and served as chair from 2001 to 2020. I am one of the founders of the Tri-Valley Democratic Club, way before most of you, and the Tri-Valley United Democratic Campaign many years ago to build the party's efforts in the Tri-Valley. I'm concerned that we're losing sight of the importance of basics such as recruiting and training good candidates and electing Democrats to office, registering Democrats, and to encourage participation in political action. I'm asking for your support along with my slate mates. We've been endorsed by many people, including Treasurer Fiona Ma, as a County Assessor Fong Law, Congressman Eric Swalwell, and the former 20th Assembly District Assemblyman, Bill Quirk. So hopefully you would support our slate and look us up on our website if you have any questions. Thank you and good night.
Thank you, Robin. Okay, and Barisha, I believe you joined. Where are you? So we can see you. Can you raise your hand? Barisha? Can I see her on here? Barisha, did you want to speak? Unmute yourself. There you go.
Hello, everyone. My name is Barisha Spriggs. I am an incumbent. I am running for re-election, and I am a lifelong Democrat a public servant, community organizer, a teacher, and I am running to make sure that the Democratic Party is inclusive, that we are fighting against Trump. I've already been doing that work when Trump was in office the last time. We had, not only am I a member of the Alameda County Democratic Central Committee, I'm also appointed to the California Democratic Party as a delegate. We were calling to make sure that the Democratic, that Biden got elected, which we will do again, and upholding the democratic values. Our platform is fully funded public education, single-payer healthcare, housing as a human right, Green New Deal, criminal justice reform, living wage and labor rights, reproductive freedom, comprehensive immigration reform, fair and progressive tax policy, right to privacy and internet, corporate free campaigns, ceasefire and justice for Palestine. And so I have been active in the Democratic Party for quite a long time, since probably 2004. And so I'm happy to be running for re-election. I was also a elected PLEO delegate for the Democratic National Convention. I've been working in Alameda County to make it better. I want to recruit more people of color to the Democratic Party, more immigrants, more young people to the Democratic Party. And I have worked on many union campaigns in the past, for statewide union campaigns for higher minimum wage, funding of California public schools, community colleges, workers' rights. I've been a rally captain for SCIU UHW. And one of my happiest moments was recruiting Danny Glover for Yes on California Proposition 15 for school funding. I am running with the People Power Progressives, and that's Victor Aguilar, Darley Adams, Austin Bruckner Carrillo, JP.
And that's time. Did you want to finish the list of your candidates, Brescia? Is that all of them?
So I'll finish. Jentinder Chai, me, Joseph Morano, the one that spoke earlier, JP spoke earlier, and Anish Mohanty. So we're People Power Progressives, and we're very proud. And I hope that everyone would vote for us. Thank you so very much. Have a nice evening.
Thank you, Brescia. And do we have any other candidates for Central Committee wishing to speak tonight? I'm going to turn the timer on myself then. Okay. My name is Jackie Taryn Rankle. I'm the president of this dang club. I've been the president just for about a year. Before that, I was the secretary of the club. I've been on the Central Committee in a volunteer role, first as our club's rep, and most recently as an appointed associate. I've been on the PAC committee. I've been on the members to member committee, the member to member comms committee. I recently was asked to join the Ledge committee. I've been pinning or writing up a lot of the letters for the legislative portal on behalf of Igor and the Central Committee. And so now I'm running to hopefully be able to finally vote in the Central Committee. Originally, the first time I ran, I was a part of the People Power Progressive. This time I'm running under the Pragmatic Progressives, along with Trish Monroe, Cheryl Cook Callio, Yeon Park, and myself out of AD16. I have born and raised in Livermore. I've lived in Livermore my whole life. I've seen so many changes throughout the Bay Area. I believe my past skills as a manager and director and managing people and developing people's skills, and talking common sense, working in a technical industry, having to translate all of this stuff to non-technical people, has given me the ability to speak plain common sense, speak to people, and I believe I have a good head on my shoulder, and I work very, very hard for this party. The reason I'm with the slate that I'm with is because we don't have time to fight. We don't have time to fight amongst Democrats. We have to pull ourselves together, work through tough issues, do it civilly, and move on, because if we don't, the Republicans are going to steamroll right over us, and I just see very bad things coming unless we change the way we work as a party and start pulling together and focusing on what's important. So I ask for your support. I would love to have people endorse me. We will not vote on this tonight, but get involved. If not through the committee, the club, get involved. And that's all I have to say about that. Thank you. And that is, do we have any last minute central committee members that would like to speak? With that, do we have anybody that is a club member that has not received a ballot yet?
And just to sort of follow up on that, the list of folks who haven't voted yet, who have gotten a ballot: Ellis, Valerie, Brian, Nick, Alan, Jackie, because you've been talking, Joan, who I believe unfortunately jumped off this call, Helen, Ron, and Nadine. So if you would like to vote, please vote now. We'll be closing ballots in a couple of minutes. And let me know if you don't see it.
Hi, this is Ron. I've already voted.
Okay.
Hold on, I'm going to throw in my ballot real quick. I want to make sure I don't forget. Okay, mine's submitted.
Karen, what's your last name, just so I can verify your eligibility?
You putting it in the chat?
Who is that?
It's Karen on Zoom. I just see your first name, so I don't
And
know.
remember to check December's roster, because the members are not delinquent until January 31st.
Correct.
So if you were a member in good standing at the end of last year, you're still a member in good standing today.
Okay, Karen, I will be sending you, I'll message you in the chat. You get a ballot.
Okay, anybody else that has not received a ballot? All wishing to vote, vote now. All wishing to vote, vote now. Love it when they say that. Let's see. And I'm going to take a peek at the agenda to make sure we're not missing anything.
That's right.
While we're closing up ballots, the next up on the agenda is swing left postcarding efforts. Is Kyoko still on the call?
Yes, I am.
Kyoko, would you like to give a brief request as far as need for postcard? And then I know our e-board would like to make a motion on this. They already have during our planning session, but if you could give a brief update on the postcarding efforts for Swing Left.
Hi, thank you for the opportunity. So the Swing Left Tri-Valley has been writing the postcarding mainly through the Reclaim Our Vote to boost the voter turnout in the southern states, especially for the Black voters, and which is, as all you know, a necessary voters for winning the Democrats' national elections. So it's an important work, and not only the Swing Left Tri-Valley, but also the Tri-Valley Women's Action Group, as well as Livermore Individual, are doing the same thing. This year, we are going to probably expand to some of the partisan postcarding effort. But as you may know, the postal stamps are getting more and more expensive. So we are trying to get both postages and the cost of the postcards from our volunteers. But there are a lot of limitations, and if Tri-Valley Dems can support us, and also not just financially, but I would love to have more riders through Tri-Valley Dems, so that this would open that kind of collaboration to do more this year, because it's critical to win the presidential election this year, as well as we cannot lose any US Senate seats to keep President Biden to make critical appointments next 4 years. So that's my plea. Thank you.
Ellis would like to, because he's having trouble with his sound, but he has in the chat, he would like to move to allocate $250 for Swing Left in the form of for use of postage. Sharon seconded it. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any
Aye.
opposed?
Aye.
The ayes have it. So the Tri-Valley Democratic Club will send a check, Mr. Treasurer, to Kyoko. How should that be made out? To Swing Left, or to, how does that work when we're buying stamps?
To me, so I can buy them.
Okay, so we want to make it out to Kyoko, and I'll send
Thank
you
you.
her detail. And I would also like to recommend that our next meeting, unless we have any pressing agenda items in February, that maybe our next meeting, we do some postcarding. Postcarding party. Sounds like fun.
Yes.
Maybe we'll bring snacks. Okay, thank you, Kyoko.
Thank you.
And we'll get that information to the club about how to participate in postcarding. And I think it would be a good idea maybe if we did something in February. We don't have an agenda set up for our February meeting yet. Okay, last call on ballots. Is there anybody that has not received a ballot? Okay, I'm going to go start taking a look at some of the ballots and see the way they look. And we're going to turn this over to our treasurer, Alan, to make some important announcement about dues.
Okay, well, dues are due now. Anybody who wants to pay, just there's a link on our website, also on the emails that Jackie sends. Or you could mail it. In fairness, so far we've had one person mail their dues this year. We're starting to catch up. This is the time of year when we get it. If anybody thinks or questions whether they have paid, you can either go on the Tri-Valley Democratic Club website or email, or if you have my email me or call me directly, and I can check it out. We are up to about 50 members. We in the past on election year get up to about 120. So hopefully we can get going on this.
Thank you. And our secretary, Ellis, I know you're having sound issues tonight. Is there anything critical you need to get out tonight? I'm going to have to come over and troubleshoot your cable issues going on with your internet.
No, I don't know. Can you hear me?
Not really.
We haven't got any other critical issues. I would read the minutes. Okay.
I'd like to make one general comment.
Okay.
This is Ron.
Yes, ma'am.
I've stepped out for a couple of times, but I don't think I heard anything in this meeting talking about the fact that we have a wonderful historical event, and it's the celebration today of Martin Luther King.
Yes, I was going to close with Martin Luther King.
So
but
let's do that then. Go
I'm
ahead.
going to let you hold that thought and let you close out tonight, sir.
Okay, in terms
did
of
everybody
racial
vote?
equality and general issues of equality, this man was outstanding. And not only was he important for racial issues, but also for issues of equality across the board in terms of religion and gender. And it's a good example as a human being. He had flaws like all of us have, and his detractors have overly emphasized those. But the overriding value of this man's life's work was just incredible and made a wonderful impact on American life. So I just want to say 3 cheers to him and his followers, and for all of the good work that they did, giving us a great foundation for liberalization and progressive work and thought in the 1960s.
You. And Ron, you did vote. Okay. So I think what's happened is it's saying it's waiting for some responses, but maybe people were sent twice. Because I see Ron has voted.
There are some typos and stuff with like people sending emails. I think if nobody here still has an outstanding ballot or feels like they need a vote, let's close this.
Okay, we're going to close the ballots. And we do have results here. In the race of 5th State Senate District, Jerry McNerney garnished 100% of our votes. So he will be endorsed. In the race for Superior Court Judge, Office 12, Mark Fickes gained 78.6% of our vote, so he will garnish our endorsement. Congratulations to Commissioner Fickes and to Congressman Jerry McNerney.
I'm just going to say a quick thank you, if I may. I'm going to keep myself muted because I've gotten into comfortable clothing and I don't want to look unjudge-like, but I thank everybody for their time and their support.
Congratulations, Mark.
Thank you.
Congratulations to all those that spoke tonight as well. Good luck in the race. I will be competing against some of you all, but you know, the main thing is we're all working towards the same goal and that we get more people involved. For those running for Central Committee, there's always room for you here at the club to work as well. We definitely need more assistance with social media, some of the technical stuff. I could use help with Zoom. So, you know, we're always looking for help at the club, and reach out to me if there's something you're interested in doing. Whatever your passion is, you know, there's work for everybody. let me just take a look. I believe that will conclude this meeting. Is there any other new items from club members? Any issues that somebody wants to bring up? Raise your virtual hand. Seeing none, that concludes our meeting. The meeting will be adjourned in honor of Dr. Martin Luther King. Everybody have a good evening and thank you for a great meeting.